I'm going to be talking about vibrato, but not just any type of vibrato. First finger vibrato. Eric, how do I do it? I'm going to tell you. But before you do that, here's a picture of a cute cat playing the violin so that way you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about vibrato. First finger vibrato particularly. Now, a lot of the times I teach vibrato starting with the third finger because the third finger is more central to the hand. In addition to the fourth finger, you have some leverage there, but the first finger is so hard because it's closer to the thumb. You have to balance also all sorts of things with your body, with your head, and also with your violin neck. So we're going to talk about that. Grab your violin. Let's get started. Let's talk about the angle of the first finger when you're vibrating. So to me, the first finger, I always like to teach students about the finger box whenever I set them up for their left hand. Now, the reason for that is because it allows the finger to go down when you're starting to learn vibrato, especially with that first knuckle closest to the fingertip. So it helps you relax a little bit. So the angle here, I am using not a full fingertip and not a full finger pad, because then I'm not going to have any room to vibrate. I'm kind of using a little bit of both, but I'm planting my first finger down this way. Now, it depends on the type of finger that you have. This is just a general course on first finger vibrato. So each finger shape is different. Maybe yours is different than mine. This is just kind of like an overall overview of the first finger vibrato. So once you kind of have established how to get that cushion with the index finger here, I like to practice first finger vibrato in first position and third position. Because we learn third finger vibrato all the way up here, third position is very comfortable. So we are familiar with how we are going to vibrate because our wrist is touching the shoulder of the instrument. Now, a great exercise for you is to just bring the back of the knuckles, or bring the knuckles back this way and drag the finger down. Why is this important? It's important because when you learn first finger vibrato here, you are likely to move the wrist forwards and backwards this way. I don't recommend that because you're actually not vibrating the finger at all. You're vibrating the wrist. And that's why sometimes I have a problem when people use the phrase wrist vibrato, especially when they're first learning vibrato, because they're doing this, which is not a good vibrato. Maybe if you're a violist and you need a little bit more room, you need a bigger range of motion just to get the vibrato to speak on the viola, but this is violin. So you want to have a very small motion on the vibrato, especially when you go into third position. So with third position, I'm not only vibrating my first finger, folks, but I'm also using my other fingers to help me bring the finger back this way. And that's what's slightly different with third finger vibrato compared to first finger vibrato. So when I use third finger vibrato, yes, it is true that I'm using all fingers to relax and get that motion, but mostly with the first finger, I am using second, third, fourth finger to kind of bring those fingers back. The other day I was teaching and I wanted to make a video on this because I came up with a word, or I didn't come up with the word, but I used a word to help with that first finger vibrato, and it really helped the student. It's called the boomerang, meaning you want the fingers to kind of go back and forth like a boomerang, back and forth, so that way you have a good range of motion. And that's how it looks like from above. And when you are applying this with your bow, when you're actually vibrating, it sounds like a really beautiful vibrato, and you're not doing a lot of work. And also, you're not moving your hand this way, right? It also doesn't look good when you put your wrist forward. It just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. If you're a violinist out there that does vibrato this way, I think you also don't have a lot range of motion, because if you're going to vibrate, especially with long arms and wrists and hands like I do, If you vibrate this way, you're really likely to touch the shoulder and you'll hear this bumping, and it actually destroys the sound. So you want to have a straight wrist because not only is it aesthetically pleasing, but it's good violin technique because you have all your fingers over the fingerboard. So just a little extra note there. So just for the sake of the exercise, I'm gonna put all my fingers down so that way you see the range of motion of the first finger. So when you're practicing your vibrato, you want to go a semitone down, also known as a half step. You want to go a half step down, and the vibrato is interpreted by the top oscillation. Oscillation, oscillation, oscillation. So you want to make sure that this oscillation is going back to, in this case, a B natural. I don't want the oscillation to go above the intended note. So if I'm playing, then I have a very bumblebee-esque type vibrato, and I don't encourage that because it doesn't have a good sound, it doesn't have a good tone. So let's talk about tone. Actually, that's something we haven't talked about yet. So tone, how do we get a good tone out of our first finger vibrato? Well, it has a combination of the weight of our hand that applies weight to the A string in our case, or let's actually go to third position. See, like if I'm playing the beginning of Brahms, like I'm using the motion of the other fingers to help me with the first finger. Right? So having the first finger get helped by the other fingers will make the job of the first finger when vibrating a whole lot easier. So try that method at home. If you're looking for more detail into the world of vibrato, how to vibrate, I want to encourage you to sign up for my violin vibrato masterclass. And you find a lot of violin vibrato videos out there, so I really appreciate you coming to my video. I know there's a lot of content out there that you can subscribe to, that you can watch. I feel honored that you came to this video. But if you want something that is a little more condensed and you have more information in an organized setting, as I said before, go down into the link below, click on my violin vibrato masterclass, and that's going to give you some insight on how to approach vibrato, how to approach practice. And there are some nuggets in there that I actually haven't really revealed on my violin YouTube channel yet. So please be sure to check that out. And if you're not ready for that, totally fine. I have other violin vibrato videos on the channel, but it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe, hit the bell notifications. And again, my name is Eric. I'm your guide to becoming a better violinist. Click on some videos over here to get into the violin vibrato rabbit hole.